Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. So today we'll be doing Makharij. We'll be looking at the foundations of Tajweed so that we can learn to properly recite the Quran. Tajweed is important, as we know, to recite the Quran. So today we'll just be starting from the foundation of Tajweed, which is Makharij. Okay, so in Makharij, so Makharij means exit, by the way.
Yeah.
Makharij, there are five main exits: الخيشوم, الشفتان, اللسان, الحلق, and الجوف. الخيشوم is the nose, الشفتان is the lips, اللسان is the tongue, الحلق is the throat, and الجوف is the oral cavity, which is the oral cavity is the empty space of the throat and the mouth.
Okay.
First of all, let's start off with the easy one, الجوف. الجوف is the empty space of the throat and mouth. It has one exit for three letters. So these three letters come from the same place. These letters are Alif, Waw, Ya. These three letters are also known as the mad letters, and the conditions as to when these three are mad letters is when Fatha preceded by Alif Sakina, Dhamma preceded by Waw Sakina, Kasra preceded by Ya Sakina. So what it means by Alif Sakina, Waw Sakina, Ya Sakina is just Alif, Waw, or Ya without a haraka.
Yeah.
Now we're going to look at Ash-Shafatan. It has two exits for four letters. So the four letters are Ba, Mim, Waw, Fa. Ba, Mim, Waw come from one exit. The reason that they come from one exit is because that when you say ba, mim, wow, to produce the sound of these letters, you have to use both the lips. So with ba, there's a bit of pressure on both the lips. With mim, your two lips meet together. And with wow, your both of your lips have to make a gap between them so that the sound of wow can come out. However, with fa, it comes with its own separate exit, and the reason why is because with fa, you only use one lip. So you
Okay.
only use your lower lip. Yeah?
Yeah.
So your teeth bite down on the lower lip to produce the sound. With al khayshum, which is the next makharij, al khayshum means the nasal passage. There's one exit, and there are two letters for these one exit. The the two letters are Noon and Mim. Al-Ghunna is also a part of the letters Noon and Mim. And just to give you a bit more clarification on the nasal passage, the nasal passage is the deepest part of the nose, and a sound called Ghunna comes from the nasal passage. So Noon and Mim are letters of Al-Khayshum and letters of Ghunna.
Okay.
Now we have Al-Halq. Al-Halq is the throat, and there are six letters for three exits. Yeah, these are Hamzaha, Ain Ha, Ghain Kha.
Okay.
Ghain Kha is a part of Adn al-Halq. So Adn al-Halq is the name of one exit, Wast al-Halq is the name of the second exit, and Aqsa al-Halq is the name of the third exit.
Okay.
Hamzaha, Aqsa al-Halq is the deepest part of the throat, where Hamza, Ha come from. Ain Ha is Wasatul Halq, where Wasatul Halq is the middle of the throat, and Ghain Kha is Adna al Halq, and Adna al Halq is the nearest part or the top part of the throat.
Okay.
Now look at Al-Lisan. There are 10 exits for Al-Lisan. Al-Lisan is a tongue. There are 10 exits for 18 letters, so there's quite a lot to break down in Al-Lisan. There are four main parts of the tongue that we look at for these 18 letters. We have أقصى اللسان, وسط اللسان, طرف اللسان, حافة اللسان. If you remember from previously the exits of al-halq, then memorizing the first two exits of al-lisan will be easier.
Yeah.
So remember أقصى اللسان, which is the deepest part of the tongue, from al-halq. وسط اللسان, which is the middle part of the tongue, from وسط الحلق, which is the middle part of the throat. Yeah? So those two
Yeah.
have the same two exits. So it's easy just to memorize the first two if you memorize the exit of al-halq. You have طرف اللسان, which is the tip of the tongue, and حافة اللسان, which is the sides of the tongue. Just remember to memorize these four exits and the previous three as well, because you will definitely need them, yeah, especially when you're being tested for the dream. We'll look at أقصى اللسان first. It has two exits for two letters. We'll look at قاف and كاف. قاف is the deepest part of the tongue, touching the soft part of the upper palate. The upper palate basically meaning the roof of your mouth. Right at the back of your upper palate, you have a soft part right at the back. And when the back of the tongue raises up, أقصى اللسان raises up, the back of the tongue then touches the soft part of the upper palate. With kaf, however, the deepest part of the tongue touches, again, it is the deepest part of the tongue, except instead of touching the soft bit, it touches some of the hard part of the palate and some of the soft part of the palate. Yeah?
Yeah.
Just to make this a bit more simplified for you, you can just say with kaf, the deepest part of the tongue raises up but touches the hard palate. Yeah? Or
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
say and a part of the soft palate. The reason why that qaf and kaf come from two different exits is because first of all, with kaf, first of all, it touches the hard part of the palate, right? Whereas qaf touches the soft part of the upper palate. Because the reason why qaf touches the soft part of the upper palate is because qaf is a heavy letter and kaf is a light letter. So naturally, qaf and kaf are going to have two different exits. Yet
Yeah.
they are still a part of aqsal lisan. With وسط اللسان, there's only one exit for three letters. Jim, Ya, Shin. When you say Jim, Ya, Shin, the middle of the tongue then raises up, touching the upper palate or the roof of the mouth that lies directly opposite it. Yeah? So if I were to draw this out, maybe just to make it a bit more simpler, say this is the tongue, this is وسط اللسان. The part that is directly opposite وسط اللسان, when we say جيم ياشين, is going to raise up and touch the part directly opposite it, yeah?
Hmm.
Okay, now we'll look at حافة اللسان. Again, two exits for two letters, a bit like أقصى اللسان. With ضا and lam, we have with ضا the deepest part of the sides of the tongue. So on the sides of the tongue, the back part of your tongue on the sides touches the upper molars. So if I were to draw this for you again, this is the back of the tongue right here. The sides where wa comes from touches the upper molars when we say wa. So like right here. Say these are the upper molars, these dots. Right here, wa touches those bits, yeah?
Yeah.
With lam, the nearest part of the sides of the tongue, what it means by nearest part is again here, the front part of the side of the tongue, where lam comes from, touches the beginning of the upper palate. So when we say lam, the when we say lam, the nearest part of the sides of the tongue, over here, like I drew, touches the upper palate, basically, yeah? We can just say that. When we say lam, the nearest part of the sides of the tongue touches the upper palate. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll look at طرف اللسان. طرف اللسان has quite a few letters. It has 11 letters and 5 exits. However, if we group these 11 letters, it becomes easier, yeah? With noon, the tip of the tongue touches the gums of the upper front teeth. So noon, the tip of the tongue touches the gums of the upper front teeth. With ra, the tip of the tongue curls up, and so the exit of ra is a bit more deeper than the exit of nun. With za, sin, sa, the tip of the tongue stays down and touches the bottom inner palate of the lower front teeth. With wa, da, ta, the tip of the tongue touches the roots of the upper front teeth. And with va, da, tha, the tip of the tongue touches the edges or the rough bit or the yeah touches the edges of the upper front teeth. So right here, so these are your upper front teeth. Right here, like at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
That's that come from there. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a quiz for you to do. If you feel confident enough to be able to test yourself. Yeah. These two, if you feel confident enough to be able to test yourself, we won't do these right now, but if you do feel confident enough to test yourself, just do these quizzes, and if not, just go back to the slides, revise again, and then come back to the quiz. Yeah. Okay, so I hope this was beneficial for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop here. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.